What's up YouTube, Dow Heavens over Wargames, bringing you the test hand video of the UA True King deck profile that I did the other day, as requested. So I'm going to do probably about 5 or 6 test hands. We'll probably do, ideally you want the extra draw in this deck, so you want the 6th draw, but we will do 3 going first and 3 going second, just to see how it does. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to hopefully crack straight into it. So obviously test hands are completely random, you know. I can end up with terrible hands, I can end up with great hands. The ideas of the test hand videos is for me to learn, you to learn, and then hopefully for me to show you how consistent the decks are. So let's go with it. Let's cut and go. Right, so we'll go first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So we've gone first, straight away we've got True King play, we've got a sign and deal play, so there's a lot we can actually do. So I say let's use sign and deal. We'll take, we've got a very defensive board actually, very defensive, so this is quite a good one for going first. So if we choose, where are you? Let's choose perfect, how are we going to do? We're going to lose 2 through that, so we'll have 1 negate with perfect ace. Or we sit on defence. Alright, let's not go perfect A, let's go midfielder. And then we take 300 bites level, so we take 1200. Which isn't too bad. So we take 1200, midfielder's on board. So then let's activate True King's effect, destroying midfielder and playmaker. Both earth, his effects, we're going to banish 3 of my opponent's cards. Then we'll bounce back this midfielder and special summon out goalkeeper. And goalkeeper can protect himself for the turn. And then lithogram is strong. And then next turn, you know, let's see what we'd get next turn. Because we've got the midfielder on board, so all we need to do, you know. So now all we need to do is we can normal midfielder, bounce back midfielder for slugger. And then, you know, arm 80s and 25, and you can go from there. So that wasn't a bad first turn defensive play. Because we had, you know, we've banished the extra deck, so ideally we're banishing their 3 main cards. That's, you know, what you'll be aiming for. Or the 3 cards that you think are most deadly to you. And then we've got our offensive plays for next turn. Okay, so let's go. We'll keep it going first. We'll do the first 3 going first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, now that's a little bit different. So, obviously, you haven't really got a lot here. You do have to play reasoning. Now, the thing is, unless your opponent knows what you're playing, and even if they do know what you're playing, like, what are they going to call? They call 4. You've got 5 4s in your deck. You've got 4 5s, 2 6s, 1, 1 8. Like, it's just so random what they could possibly call. So, alright, let's mill and say they've called wrong. So, there you go, straight away. Obviously, it's not the ideal one, but you now have a monster on board. So you can now activate any of these if you want to. So you can literally just tribute this guy off, and you can go with whatever combination you want. So, this one, obviously, you want to be doing it during your opponent's turn. Normal summon it now, or special summon it during your opponent's turn. And I believe it's special summons, if this card is special summon during your opponent's turn, or normal summon, you can special summon one of your monsters for hand or graver. So yeah, go. Tribute, Lithogram off, go into Rebounder. Rebounder's effect can then either bring you out Slugger, which probably isn't the best kind of move. Your probably better one is Playmaker, only because the, well, not even that, he's just stronger. But either one kind of gives you that extra thing, and then you've got Penalty Box to protect you from any attacks that happen. So, yeah. I would be amazed if my opponent calls 9 and I hit a reasoning. Yeah, especially if they don't know what you're playing. I mean, the only decks that are used to run reasoning were Cosmos, so they're going to call like 3 or 8. Or maybe, like, depending on what they fear most from a Cosmo deck. So, let's go test hand 3, going first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, again, a little bit more different. So we can, again, we have two options. We can sign in deal and get, let's go for a level 5. So let's go for ace. Now obviously ace's effects are negated, but we've taken 1500 damage. So if you bounce ace back for midfielder, now you have two options. You can tribute off midfielder for rebounder. Rebounder will then special ace. And then midfielder's engraved. Set a penalty box, hold on to a penalty box for ace. So, you know, that's kind of, again, your defensive play. Your other option would have literally been, if you wanted to keep more monsters in hand, was set a penalty box, bounce ace back for midfielder, and then bounce midfielder back for ace. And you sit there like that. So what you've got to remember about UAs is the individual card can only bounce back once. Like themselves, using their effect, they can only bounce once. So for example, I can't bounce ace for midfielder and then bounce midfielder for ace and then do ace for midfielder again. Like I can't do that. So you've got to remember that it's only once per turn that way. So defensively, we've done all right. We've ended up with like a Lithogavum at the first turn. We've ended up with, probably our second turn was probably the weakest, but we did have the trap cast to protect us from any attacks. So yeah. And then the best thing about the third hand was with ace, when you discard, you could then banish next turn and search out whatever you wanted. Right, so let's see what our offensive capabilities are going to be like. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is a lot more offensive. So it is entirely up to you. Again, I'm going to call reasoning, and I would be amazed if my opponent calls that right. So I've now got a midfielder on board. I now have two options. I can monk if I wanted to and get another level 4 on the board, but it's probably not worth it. You're probably better off going sign and deal, taking the damage of, well, Dunker's probably the strongest, but I wouldn't take that much damage unless you know you're going to game him this turn. You could take up to 6 if you wanted to with rebounder. This is dependent on how much you want to do, because, so you've taken the special summon, his effect's negated, you haven't normal summoned yet, so you bounce this guy back for, let's say, slugger. Then you can bounce midfielder back for rebounder. Then if you want to, you still have your normal summon. So you could still normal summon midfielder if you want to. Oh, no, sorry. Instead of bouncing him back, you could normal summon him. And again, you would end up with the same kind of board, because he can then special midfielder using his normal summon. And then off you go there. So that's kind of the options you now have. This could easily have been another slugger if you wanted it to be. It's really dependent on what kind of offense you wanted to take with that. You could have kept sign and deal in hand and used monks for a rank 4 play, but you know, kind of when you've opened up with your midfielder, monk's not as imperative. Like he's just there to step in a little bit more, and ideally for the terraformings that are dead after you've searched out, or if you have all your field spells in hand, because you can never have too many stadiums. Okay, so test down number 4, again going second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is very, very interesting. Again, reasoning. If my opponent calls that right, I'm going to be amazed. Yeah, I think this is game. It's very, very strong. Sign and deal. Take the 1500. Get yourself your slugger for your Armades. Bounce him back for midfielder. Midfielder for slugger. Normal summon the midfielder. Bounce him back for Dunker. Activate Jersey on Dunker. You know, and then that's pretty much game. Or you could activate it on Slugger if you want to be a bit more safe, because you could attack with Slugger, then attack with him again, and you know your opponent's not activating anything. But whereas if you attack with Dunker, you get to pop 2 cards. You would attack with that, pop 1 card, attack with that again, pop 1 card, rebounder, and Slugger. Yeah, that's just pretty much it. And then you've got that there. Ideally, if you put it on Dunker, you could bounce him back for midfielder, but you can't Slugger because obviously we did the cycle with Slugger. So yeah, that's a very, very offensive kind of first turn. If you open up with the main spell, unless your opponent has something to seriously stop you, you're kind of good to go. Mix them with Ancient Gears. No, joking, don't do that. Okay, so final test stand. So test stand number 6 going second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I was concerned there when I saw the 5. I was like, ooh. Okay. Right, so you've got to do this the right way around. So you've got one of two options. You can terraform in to deck thin a little bit more. Again, it depends on what your opponent's got, because if you deck thin a little bit more, you are running the risk that your opponent could pop your first stadium. But if you deck thin, normal monk, monk's effect, dump stadium, get you, oh, not you, get you your midfielder out. Now, you've got to be very careful on this one, because you've got to play stadium at the right time. So if you bounce back midfielder, special summon out your Dunker, now activate stadium. Oh, I've already used normal summon. No, don't do that. Don't listen to me on that one. So we've already used our normal summon of the monk, which means we're not going to get the search. So your other option is to literally activate stadium, bounce back midfielder. There's your Dunker. Dunker goes up to 3k. Give him the jersey, goes up to 4k. Set the call. Attack. Pop 2 cards. Bounce him back for midfielder. Jersey returns to hand. And then you've got your rank 4 play. So whatever you want to be, you could be more defensive if you want. If your opponent's got something you want to bounce back, you've got that as well. You know, that is where your rank 4 engine comes into it. And then you've got this play for next turn. So let's draw your Rhoda, search out another midfielder. Then you normal your midfielder. Stadium's effect goes off to get you a search. Bounce back that midfielder for whatever you want. He will then go up. If your XYZ is still there, that will then go up. And then Dunker, and then you've got, you know, jersey for game. Let alone, if you've detached the material, you've got your Call to the Hornet to bring him back, which then means you can then special the one you've searched off of Stadium. That is just the many things that UAs can do, and you know, it's a very, very fun deck. You know, if I get to Euros, I will be massively tempted to play this, just because it's something different. You know. So yeah, I hope this helps. I hope this gives you an idea. Like I said, this deck's very, very cheap. The True Kings is probably the most expensive part of it now, because they are starting to slowly rise in price. I still think they're only about £2.50 on the Supers. I haven't checked recently, so they could have gone up a little bit, but they're not, you know, they're not the fire. That's all you need to know. So yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and until next time, guys, as always, happy dueling. If you like that video, why not check out our other videos available? We've got more deck profiles, pack openings, and of course duels. And don't forget to click on the most important button of all, that subscribe button, right in the bottom left hand corner.